Hello, my name is Nuno Nogueira, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get started with FinModeler. You will see how easy it is to create your financial model in Excel, even if you don't have much experience in finance or even if you don't have any experience in finance at all. All you need to have is a good business idea and be able to express it through the app. So if you are just getting started, the first screen you will see is this one. And in this screen, there are only basically two things that you can do. You can start by defining your user settings, or you can start creating a new business plan right away. Let's begin by defining our user settings by clicking on the avatar on the top right of the corner, and we will be redirected to this screen where we can define things like our image, uh, enter our phone number, make a short introduction about ourselves, and even maybe even entering some details about the company we work for. Another thing which is actually very important is to define the language in which we want the app to be displayed, which is also the same language that it's going to be used to create a financial model in Excel. So in my case, I'm using English, but I could also choose Portuguese. If I wanted to, I would have to click here and save changes, and the whole interface will be immediately translated into Portuguese. So let's go back to the English so that everybody understands. I save changes again, and we're done with this screen. Let's go back to the main screen and begin by creating our first business plan. So before we even create the financial model, we have to tell the app what kind of business we want to create. We don't go directly to the financials. We have to start by defining the business model, the kind of products and services we want to sell, our positioning, how we're going to differentiate from the competition, and so on. And as we will see, AI will help us do that. And the wizard, step by step, is also going to help us do exactly that. So let's start by clicking here, create a business plan now. And the first decision we have to make is whether we want to create an online or offline business. Well, of course, you can create a combination of both online and offline, but the wizard will force you to choose a specific business model, and this is going to be important in the creation of the financials. So let's assume that I want to create an online business model and I can choose from one of the 5 templates we currently have available. And let's assume I want to create an e-commerce business. Okay, once I choose e-commerce, I will see a definition of the business model, how does it work, and some insights about the pros and cons of the e-commerce business model. Okay, I'm good with this. I like e-commerce, so I click next. And the next decision is to determine what kind of products and services I am going to sell. Okay, there are some ideas here for typical things that we can sell in an e-commerce business. Let's assume, for example, that okay, let's assume that I'm going to sell home fitness gear. Uh, I can also enter manually other products, like for example, I don't know, sports goods, something like that, and add to the business model, and I can add as much as I want. This is a very important also to define the income streams. How is this business going to make money by selling what kind of products and services? Okay, let's keep it simple for now. Let's assume that I just want to sell home fitness gear and sports goods and continue by clicking next. And here I will have to make a very important decision about the positioning of the business. Looking at the business from a customer perspective, what kind of problems are we going to solve? So here you can, enter the text manually as you wish by, reflecting upon the type of business that you are willing to create, or you can just ask a little help from AI. And AI is going to give you some ideas about things that you can use to define your position. And it's, as you can see, it's pretty quick. It's going to write things about what kind of platform that you can build, like specializing in. wide range of home fitness gear and sport tools and so on and so on. And you can, of course, edit this if you are not happy with the text, or you can just accept it as it is. So you have to make two decisions on this screen. The first one is this one, positioning, and the second one is the differentiation. Differentiation is also very important. You will have to define how you are going to be different from your competition. And again, you can type it manually yourself here in this box, or you can ask help from AI. And AI is now looking at the business model, is looking at the products and services that you are selling, and it's going to help you with ideas for differentiate your business from the competition. Okay, let's just assume that I am happy with this narrative. I am okay. I'm going to click next. And the next thing is going to give the business a name, of course. Every business needs a name. So I can just come up with some ideas myself, or again, I can ask my AI friend here to suggest, recommend some names, and I can choose one of these amazing suggestions that he has just given me. For example, Gymflow sounds pretty good. So let's create Gymflow business plan. Okay, we click next, and now we are beginning to define some financial aspects that are going to determine the whole financial model that is going to be created. There are two parameters which are very important. The first one is when are we going to start, in which year we are going to start, and for how many years do we want to build financial projections. Here you can choose from a minimum of 3 to a maximum of, I don't know, 15 years or 20 years. I'm not sure. Typically, we build financial plans for a range of 5 to 10, maybe 12 years, not longer than that, because of course, the longer the financial projections are, the more difficult it is to make them to forecast. So let's keep this with 10 and click next, and we continue in our process. And that's it. We created the first part. We created the business plan. We just defined certain fundamental features about our business plan: the name, the business model, positioning, differentiation, and for which time period we want to build a financial model. So now we have two options. We can start by simple assumptions, and this is, you can think of it as a pre-made template in which the app is going to fill in the main assumptions for you, or you can define them detailed assumptions by yourself. We begin with the simple assumptions uh, because, yeah, they are simple. We are just getting started. And as you can see on this screen, at this time we have to define three parameters. We are going to define the income, and this is going to determine how is this business going to make money. We are going to define the fixed costs, and we are going to define CapEx. CapEx means how much we are going to invest in this business. Okay. So the assumptions are already pre-filled. I can just accept the numbers as they are. Uh, kind of things that we are going to define here is how much are going to forecast to sell in the first year. Uh, in euros, let's assume that we are expecting to sell 500,000 in the first year. And for the remaining years, we expect a growth rate of 10%. And also we can assume that our gross margin is 40%. So for each 100 euros, we are going to retain 40 for us. Uh, and we can also determine the average selling price of our main product. Let's assume it's 50 euros. Okay, I'm not going to touch in any of these parameters here. I'm going to leave them exactly as they are. So we go to the second assumption, which is the fixed costs. Okay, fixed costs are those kinds of costs that do not change with the activity. You can either sell more or less, have a higher, lower activity, but the fixed costs are going to remain as they are. So these are very much dependent on how many people are going to work in your business, and this is going to be the salary level, and other fixed costs are, things like rents, insurance, and so on. So we have here four parameters. We're going to define what is the monthly base salary on the first year, how many people are going to work. Okay, this is a very small business, so let's assume it's just one person. And the other fixed costs, apart from the salaries, how much will they be in the first year? Let's assume it's 150,000. And at which rate are they supposed to grow in the remaining years? Let's assume it's 3.5%. Okay, this seems good enough. So finally, we go to the third item, the third assumption, which is the CapEx. How much are we going to invest in this business? So only to get started in this business, we need 500,000 euros. And this amount of money is going to be financed partially by equity. That is the owner's money that is going to be invested in this business. So let's assume that the owners are going to invest 400,000. And to get started, we need to have a minimum inventory of 5,000 euros. Okay, that's it. We just enter the minimum assumptions that we need to get started. Let's click the Create Excel Model button. And we are at the last step, which is basically only defining the style, that is the design of the Excel model that we want to build. Here we have three themes. We have this clear sky theme, which is basically a blue theme, the enchanted forest theme in green, and the sunset in orange. And you can also choose the fonts. Let's say the primary font is going to be Sego UI, but you can also choose others like Arial, Lato, and so on. The same for the secondary fonts, and you can also choose the font size. Okay, and that's it. It's really the only thing you have to do to create your first business and financial model. So the last step is really to create the Excel model, and now the app is going to take around 5 minutes to complete the financial model. You will have to wait to go get a cup of coffee, and within 5 minutes in your email and in the app, you will see the Excel file.